Hey, air cheers.
Air cheers.
Because of COVID.
Cheers,
Oh my
dog.
God.
Right?
We're
all really 6 feet apart.
Him. That was from. Okay. Are we doing the
Looks
little
like
intro
water.
thing?
I don't think just because the neon sign's not on, so
Yeah, we can't.
Kind of
Unfortunately,
back
our
up.
neon
Ruins
sign,
Let's
bro.
give it a shot.
No,
we don't have to. We don't have to.
We can do it in post.
We can cut it.
Eli loves when we do that.
what?
Actually, you probably too. Do you ever get that? Like with photos, like, can you touch this up? Can you take this guy out?
Oh yeah,
All the time.
Damn.
Almost every single one of Russ's photos is fake.
exactly.
It's digitally altered.
That's like half of what I do these days is
Really?
retouch.
Is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
the
yeah,
most
studio.
sought after thing that they want out?
That's a good question.
Inappropriate hand signals?
It's like a photo. Well, it's like the studio stuff, but it's like a photo with no arms, and we want
What?
arms in, or
You
like
edit in arms? Oh my god!
Do you have like an arm model? Or is it
no. I just pull it from another photo, and
Wow.
then, or like the sleeves on a piece of clothing is too long, so you have to bring it up to like 3/4. So you just have to build this
Wow.
from nothing.
So you could be have an illustrious career as an amputee model.
I
Yeah.
could be,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Wow.
By the way, I was kidding about you editing all your photos.
Yeah,
Like
I got-
digitally retouching. But studio, yes, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you're not mad at him.
Just so you know. I was
Yeah,
kidding.
He loves it.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh man, Russ, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Is this like the first? Have you guys done anything?
We've
in
done 2 in here so
Okay.
far.
Done 1 in here.
technically.
When we release it.
You're right. We've done 1 in here so far, but we haven't released any of them yet.
Okay.
We're trying to shoot
Touch
as
them up.
many as we can, stack them up, and start pushing.
Blast.
Everyone's going to be like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Outer
shoot,
space.
after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun though. It's nice. You can just get work done, and it's kind of an easier setup. We just flick the lights on.
Yeah.
Way easier.
You're the first
Way
human
easier.
we've had in here.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have like an iPad set up?
Yes.
Face?
Nah.
No.
That would be really hard to do, honestly.
Or a
Just-
fat head? You remember
Just
fat
aliens.
What's that? Oh, on the wall, the stickers. We had a Larry Bird one. Remember that?
Yes, I do. And
Yeah.
I also.
What?
Not a big Larry Bird fan though, unfortunately.
Oh, you're gonna get some hate mail from that one.
Oh yeah, but you know what?
Why aren't you a Larry Bird fan? What's wrong with him?
He doesn't like the East Coast. He doesn't
I
like
just-
the Celtics. Is that right?
No, honestly, the Celtics are pretty sick. Celtics, the
there we go.
Bulls, the Lakers, those are iconic teams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't watch basketball. It's like golf to me. It's like cool golf
So you're not a Larry Bird fan
because he plays basketball.
plays basketball.
But if Larry Bird played squash,
I'm just
I'd
looking at your
watch
hands.
you,
I know, that's
you
my
like
thing.
Larry Bird as a person?
how big was he? By the way, do you know his
He
height?
was 6'9" and 227. No, I have no idea.
I think he was like 6'9".
You think?
6'7", 6'9".
Probably.
Jeez.
But he was a shooter.
He's a
He was
proper
shooter.
Dirk.
I would have believed you.
I should have just said yes.
He
I know
seems skinny,
exactly
though.
what he is.
Wasn't
Yeah,
he kinda
227.
lanky?
But for 6'9",
Is that? I feel like.
He could be
Yeah,
like
you're
6'5".
Do you mind looking that up, Eli, real quick, just so we can be done with
Jamie, Jamie,
Fact checker.
that? Fact checker.
Larry
He's our one
Bird.
guy with glasses, so he became our tech guy.
6'9".
Wow, he looks gnarly.
Wait, I was spot on. What's his weight?
Is he really 6'9"? You're right.
6'9".
6'9".
What's his weight? Come on
It
now.
doesn't say on Wikipedia. I guess
Look at
it's
that
kind of
photo
offensive.
of him. Holy shit.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's been dabbling in the fine arts.
Oh
of too.
my
He's a
God,
big
dude.
boy.
What did you say?
You were
I
really
said
close.
227. I was dead.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy.
You were really damn close.
I know.
Wow.
He kind of looks
Bird.
like a
Damn.
bird.
I
He
know.
does. Yeah, he's.
I wonder if
he's Big Bird.
Did he change his name, or is
does
he
look
born
like
with
a
that
big
name? You know, he was Big Bird.
Did he? No, I think that's just.
We're just gonna get
kidding.
regulated.
Yeah.
The
Larry
NBA
Bird.
sends us a subpoena.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what my buddy was talking about the other day?
Hmm.
Pee Wee Herman. Remember him?
Of course.
My dad went to high school with Pee Wee.
No
Herman.
way, dude. On the East
No
Coast.
Way.
Dude, my buddy is from that town. What's it called again?
Well, he Sarasota, Florida.
What?
Yeah, that's what. Pretty
I'm
sure.
hearing conflicting stories now, dude.
Really?
Can you look this shit up too? Because I heard it was on the East Coast, like in New York.
Huh? Look it up, because
I would love to know.
Wait, is your dad from the East Coast?
he's from Florida. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I did not know that.
Where is Pee Wee Herman now?
No, he's in jail, I think. He got rolled hard.
No way.
Dude, I have a story about Peekskill.
Okay.
Dude, and he told me that there's
I don't know where that came from.
your dad's story.
Yeah, I'm
you gotta
trying to-
call him out now.
I think he could have had like
Just another guy.
quick,
like a renaissance
Yeah.
in high school.
Dude,
Yeah.
Your dad just knew a guy that he just like bullied and called Pee Wee.
Dude, I'm gonna ask him
Pee-wee.
after this because that's so random.
I know. There was actually.
Are there multiple stories from your dad about like
No.
Pee-wee?
I just remember that like that came up at some point, and I don't remember why or like, yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of your dad is the coolest guy.
I was just
I haven't met him yet,
He's
dude.
so rad.
Dude.
And your mom too.
I know. I told him that we were gonna do this, and he was just like, dude, that's sick.
The boy.
The boy.
Dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Hog
So
Canyon.
sick.
I'm the only one who hasn't met him.
I know. I'm sorry about
I
that.
haven't.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. I know. I'll have to do it again.
I just want to hang out with them and your mom. I want to do Hog Canyon again.
Oh yeah.
What about the
We
brothers?
should do it this year.
And of course, Neil. Yeah.
Have you gone recently?
Your brother's great too.
Yeah, I was up there like a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hunting or just hanging out?
No, just just hanging out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that spot.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Did they get it?
Paul
Did the
Ribbons.
fires touch their?
Indecent
Mm-mm.
exposure?
No, it was like over the hill,
Oh, in Florida.
like on the coastal side.
Oh my God.
What?
Dude, his connection with Florida is where he got arrested.
For an indecent exposure.
Maybe
to
that's
adult
where you
theater.
met him.
No. Wait.
It does say Sarasota,
Yeah, it says
Florida.
Sarasota.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
Rubens was
Oh
arrested
my
for indecent exposure in an adult theater in Sarasota, Florida. When
But
people
why
go
was
to
he there?
when
Why
people
was
I
he
know
go
what your
there?
dad's story is. He probably didn't go to high school and he just like knew.
Yeah.
He saw him at a high school
Interesting.
streaking.
in
He
an
was in
adult
that theater
That's
and he's like,
weird.
That
I'll
is
ask
weird.
him, but it was like, I always thought that he said that, but maybe it's, I don't know, maybe I just made that up out of thin air.
He's out of prison now, then it looks like. He's doing speeches.
Sketch.
That guy, he probably has some gnarly.
wait, so the fires were on the.
They were on like the coastal side of that range.
Okay.
I think they made it like almost up to the top and then down. Like I think it started like the Alisal is on
Yeah.
like the valley
Yeah.
side, but with those winds that were blowing, it pretty much blew it up and over the other side.
Was there
So it
any
was-
like thought process that you guys might have to?
No, it was going away from
Gotcha.
us. Yeah.
I was there when that happened on the honeymoon.
Oh yeah, I remember
We
that.
were watching it, and we were going to San Ynez as the fire started, and we got a call when we were in Ojai,
Uh-huh.
I think from Helene,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
that she's like, you might want to call your hotel. It's probably canceled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were watching it all day, and we were hanging out, just watching the fire go and stuff. It was
I know.
heavy.
Crazy.
But
I
there
know
was no
'cause-
smoke in San Ynez.
Yeah, exactly. Well, luckily the winds usually are blowing it like towards the coast, So
Yeah.
most of the time, depending on where it starts, it's usually just like going straight to the coast. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's been like 3 fires up in the hills, like where my parents are at, and it's always like perpendicular across the ridgeline to where it's usually just blowing away. Like the off chance that there's like south wind is usually when it's like sketchy, where
Yeah.
there's evacuations and all that
Jeez.
for us. But
It's heavy.
yeah.
Where's Hog Canyon again? Is it like actually in Santa Ynez?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in San Ynez proper, like between Los Olivos and Buellton.
Yeah.
Buellton.
Yeah. So,
Love Buellton.
yeah. It's a zone.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Missed that
so, I mean, maybe you can explain who you are and everything to the audience, and for those that don't know, or for those that do know, kind of get a better idea of like your background.
Yeah. My name's Russell Holliday. Should I look at this?
You can
You can look
at
them
us.
right in the eyes.
Stand up, do a twirl.
Currently,
Yeah, straight down
zooming
the
in
pipe.
on your face right now. Currently.
My name's Russell Holliday. I'm a photographer, and I'm from Santa Barbara, California.
Sick.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. What do you do for money?
Strip.
Lots of things. No, that's been my job for the last 10 years. Can't believe it's been
Damn.
10 years.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. That's
Nice.
pretty much what I've kind of built my whole life around, really.
Sick.
Even before college, I guess I was like doing that, but not even for money or anything like that. I guess I
Just for fun.
yeah.
Where'd you get your earliest start?
I started shooting video before I ever had a camera, I guess.
You're
Damn.
shooting video before you had a camera? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, his mind, bro.
Yeah, well, because my
He'd sketch
dad always had cameras because he was like
Oh.
he was always taking photos of everything. He was like, you know, when you go on trips with your friends and there's always like the one person that's taking photos of everything, like that was him. So he was always like had the nice camera gear.
Sick.
And did all that. And then all of that, he shot it all on slide, and it was all in the garage. And then that burned up in the Painted Cave fire. So they lost their house in 1990, a couple years before I was born. And so then when I feel like growing up, I always was like, I feel like my dad was taking photos of everything to the point where it was like annoying, you know, you're like, dude, Dad,
like documenting family trips.
Yeah. You're like, as like a little kid, you're just like, dude, stop.
You're embarrassing me.
Yeah. This is so like annoying. But I think it was because like he would always tell these stories of like, so he grew up in Florida, but he would drive like pretty much when he was like 16 to like cross country to Oaxaca and do all these surf trips and stuff and shoot them. And then he would always be like, oh, I had so many cool photos that like burned up, you know? So I feel like when I was growing up, he was shooting everything because it's like, like he realized how awesome it was to have the photos. Even if he lost them, he's almost like starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So,
what a bummer that.
Yeah. It was always like, always like he had like the camera, like, film still cameras, but he also had like video cameras. So as a kid, it's more fun just to grab that thing and like be like zooming in, out, you know. Yeah. But I guess that was my like earliest start, was just shooting that stuff. I think I was like lucky to have that even around to do, like not even taking it seriously, but just being able to like mess with it, you know. So
that's sick.
That was like how I even started, because I was I grew up like in the hills above Santa Barbara, like pretty much between San Ynez Valley and Santa Barbara. So before I could drive, we were just stuck up there, really. There's one other family of kids that was our age, but pretty much we were on our own in like the golden era of like, you know, dial-up internet, no phones, anything really. Sick. So we pretty much were just like, that's how I got into mountain biking. So I was like, I didn't even start surfing. I guess I surfed a little bit growing up, but like, I wasn't really like involved, or I guess like interested in it until like maybe I was like 18 or something. Cause I couldn't, like, I guess my dad surfed a little bit, but like he surfed a lot, but I guess I just didn't really like, I couldn't drive, and we were kind of just like up in the hills. Yeah. So I like got super into mountain biking, and then I was like racing mountain bikes, and like I think my first like experience of shooting anything was for mountain biking before I even started surfing and like doing all that.
Was your first gig that you got around mountain biking then? Was that kind of your niche?
No, the first thing I ever got paid to shoot was like a friend's wedding. I feel like that's like probably everyone's like first. Yeah. Unless you like grew up in the industry or whatever. But like I had no ties to any of that. My dad's an architect, and my mom's like stay at home professional mom. So that was like my what I started shooting for fun was mountain biking, because that was like what me and all my friends did. And then I don't know, I guess it just once I like could start driving is when surfing became more of something I was interested in. But it was like I was too far away to do it. If anything, it was like I was spending more time in the valley, like with my family down there doing, I don't know, just like rogue valley shit.
So who got you into surfing originally? Was it your dad just always going, or was it friends?
Like if somebody in your family, if one of your parents surfs, like it usually is a big influential part in being able to like do it, you know?
Yeah. Like you always had boards, but you wouldn't go because you couldn't drive unless he was going.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. So he was like surfing and holding us when we were babies, kind of deal, you know. Damn. But I was like, I want to be. I always thought it was like kind of lame, you know, in my mind. Like I was like, I want to be a like professional mountain biker. So that was in high school. That was like all we did. It's like all my friends did and stuff. And then I think once I was able to drive, it made a little bit more sense. But in Santa Barbara, it's like you're pretty pressed for like good waves outside of the handful of like days, you know. So you do have to like unless you have like your parents driving you all the time, like before you have your license, like it's pretty hard unless you live like in town close enough to
How did like the Coffin brothers get good? You know what I mean? Like they just drove a lot with their parents.
Yeah. I think. I mean, they had ranch access, and
Oh yeah.
Parents probably. Like,
it's a huge part. Like
uber committed.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think that's like the big thing about surfing is like the early years. I think are like the hardest. You do have to be pretty invested. And it's like that in any sport. Like moto is the same way. Like you gotta have like most people you hear who like their families like take out a second mortgage to pay to go on the road to travel for like moto.
Mm-hmm.
And
any sport really.
Yeah.
You gotta commit.
Exactly.
Do you remember the movie Motocross?
Oh yeah.
Is that where the girl becomes?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great movie. Yeah.
Just watch that.
I'd love to watch that again.
I should.
It's probably terrible now.
Yeah, none of that.
Yeah.
I actually went back and rewatched a lot of those, and everything but Johnny Tsunami was pretty bad.
Johnny Tsunami
That's
is
the only one.
Sickest.
Yeah, that one
The
stays
sickest
strong,
movie.
but
Yeah.
everything else is horrible.
Yeah.
The Johnny
Horrible.
Tsunami when he goes snowboarding too. Is that the
That's
same
the
one?
first
or is
one.
That, okay, I thought
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the second one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, those are good ones.
that's
Those are
classic.
sick.
Yeah.
Lilo
I
and
was
Stitch.
like, I would ride my dirt bike to work up in the hills. There's a tavern up there that I'd work at, and down at the lake, Kachuma Lake, which is, I guess my mom would drive me there. It's a little too far to ride the dirt bike without a license or anything. But yeah, that was like growing up there. To me, I was like so psyched on that because, then now like living up in San Luis Obispo, I like realized how like proximity wise, I was pretty close to everything, you know? And yeah, it was almost like you kind of just like choose what you were going to be into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just happened to like, I don't know,
Get into
put like wheels on random stuff and then bomb hills on it.
it. So
That's sick.
your dad was an architect and your mom was, well, sticking with that, your dad was an architect, your mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they choose to be so remote? And like, how did that?
I think my dad was just so stoked on us having like room to do stuff, you know? Like we lived in town. It like there, if you come to Santa Barbara, there's like a trailer park right when you come down the 154. We live like just above that. And that was, they were there because their house burned down. It's convenient when you're an architect, you know, you can obviously design a new place yourself, and they built a new spot like pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And then we're able to just pretty much like sell that. They found a place up in the hills that was like super cheap at the time, to move up there. And then that was like what spurred it, was just because it was like, I think we were always like, I grew up like in town at that spot, but I was like 4 or 5 when we moved. And it was because we were like always in the street, like skating or just doing stuff, you know? And so he was like, oh, it'd be so cool if we could like have a place where they could just like roam.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, so they found that spot, and it was like, I think it was 1 acre or 2 acres, but it butts up to Los Padres. So it was literally just endless.
Yeah.
Like
It's so sick.
we would just carve our own trails or like, just like do
And you have 2
whatever.
brothers, right?
Yeah.
2 brothers, so.
So yeah, my twin brother Neil and then my older brother Eric, like we were all close enough in age that it was just like all 3 of us we'd come home from school and then figure out like what we were gonna do.
That's
you know?
sick.
Like built-in friends.
Yeah. So and then my mom was stoked because she grew up in St. Inez Valley, and that's like where like my whole family on her side's from. So I mean, it was just a move closer to them, and we were always going down there like almost every week anyways. So yeah, it was kind of just like a perfect spot where they were stoked. I mean, they moved to Florida when they like first got married, you know, and I think that was like probably pretty gnarly for my mom, you know.
Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota, Florida. Yeah. Because my dad's dad passed when he was he passed when he was 25. So he had to move home and like take over the family business, and they had just gotten married. So my mom's like, whoa, what the hell? Like, pretty much just fly, like, cross country. And so they were over there. So the fact that they made it back home and then we're able to like find a cool spot like that, cool. They were just like, we're just going to post up here. Don't change anything. Like this is.
I wonder how different you would be if you grew up in Sarasota.
I think about that sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
That is
Probably pretty different.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 We almost moved to Nashville when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
That's a gnarly age to move right there. That's when
Yeah.
you're
Mhm.
finding yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Puberty's on full
It's like
blast.
every Disney movie ever.
I know. I was kind
Johnny
of
Tsunami right
I was
there.
kind of
Yeah.
psyched. I always visualize myself with some douchey ass truck playing football.
You become a country musician.
Just country musician with super tight jeans.
Yeah.
Only plays acoustic guitar and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's all
Yeah.
it takes.
Days.
Life changing. Right
Those
there.
were the days.
Those are the days I almost lived in a parallel universe. If
Yeah.
you believe in it,
Yeah.
I did that.
So I'm really trying to save some extra cash every month. You guys got any ideas?
Yeah.
Let's hear them.
Got a bank account and I put the money in there.
That's a good idea, Mattson.
Interesting.
What about solar? I've been seeing a lot of those solar panels around here.
Solar's legit. Have you guys ever heard of palmetto.com?
I haven't. Can you tell me more?
I could tell you a little bit. It's clean energy. You save up to $79 a month. It's one of the best solar panels out there.
Wow. So you're saying you could save money on your utility bills while also saving the planet? Is that what you're telling me?
Every single month at palmetto.com.
Wow.
So Palmetto believes that clean energy is for everyone.
Exactly.
They
Just
believe
like
that the
us.
clean energy for everyone.
Everyone.
Just like us.
every single thing on this planet.
At palmetto.com. You guys been digging these Sailaway coffees? They're pretty bomb, huh?
Every single morning.
They're nice, yeah. Instead of stopping on the way, I could just pop one open here at the office.
Exactly. We have been so lucky to get a shipment of those. They are just so delicious.
You know, and I love the name too, because when I start drinking that, I sail away into another world.
I realize that. You don't respond to me when I ask you questions at work anymore.
That's because I'm so enveloped in my work that it's absolutely amazing because it is
Wow.
the smoothest cold brew around.
That's insane.
I
You
love
say it
saying
was
that.
nitro cold brew as well? It's nitro?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nitro's the good stuff.
That is the good
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, you go check out sailawaycoffee.com to find out where you can pick up some near you.
So, you said you started actually surfing when you were 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty wild because that's when we started surfing for the most part around
Us too, yeah.
Yeah.
Mattson, when did you start? You started as like a
since
drum, right?
baby. Yeah.
You had the whole father thing.
Yeah,
that you're talking about.
thing.
Yeah.
Almost too much. It was.
Yeah.
I love you, Dad, but you pushed me too hard. And surfing.
Look
at
it
least.
right in the camera and say
Yeah.
that.
No, he did a great job.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he really wanted me to be a good surfer, and I pushed back until I got older.
Mm.
There's nothing worse than like being surfing related, being somewhere where you're like legit scared,
Yeah.
but you like know you have to because your dad's like, you
Don't be
have
a
to,
pussy.
you know?
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. It's like,
Yeah.
go paddle out. And it's like, Dad, it's huge. What the hell?
Yeah.
And
You're
then
6.
Your like stomach is all flaring up with butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. But yeah,
I mean, it's
keep
good
going.
now.
That's
Oh
what you were
yeah, I
saying.
mean, no, I was just kind of bringing up that fact that we all like kind of actually get into it during the same time, and it became our lives for the most part. Like this is a surf brand, you know,
Yeah.
and it really became your life. Like
Yeah.
you started shooting surfing like crazy. So like, what actually got you into that?
Yeah.
Shooting the surfing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, I think the cool thing, like Santa Barbara has such a, obviously like a pretty like flourishing surf scene. And a lot of like, a lot of big name like pros come out of Santa Barbara, Ventura area. And then like, even just good like photographers and filmmakers.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're kind of like, or at least there's almost like a mold. I shouldn't say mold. I think that when someone does something before you, it's just easier to see the trajectory. You know
That
what I
makes
mean?
sense.
So like, I always like, again, we were just like these kind of kooky mountain bike kids, but there was like during that whole time there was like the surf kids or the surf scene of like similar aged
Yeah.
guys and gals that were like kind of coming up. And I think that like once I went to school and started just shooting for fun, like it was just easier for me. I didn't really I didn't know anybody who really like rode mountain bikes, and I sold my mountain bikes to pay for school anyways. So I was like,
Damn.
well, what am I supposed to do now? You know? So
Yeah.
the nice thing about surfing, I mean, it's a pretty like cheap sport
It is.
considering all the other like action sports to get into.
Snowboarding and shit.
Yeah. You could be
Yeah.
a dirtbag surfer for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was just like I was familiar enough with it, that I feel like I understood it well enough, but like I think I like discovered my love for surfing through shooting surfing, because it was more like in the beginning it was almost like more fun for me to be shooting that than it was to like surf.
Yeah.
Because it was cool. It was like the cool thing to do. And it was super fun. Like I remember getting my first water housing and I was like, this is all I want to do, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I think like it's such an involved like sport to photograph or to film that like I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand with surfing. If you have like any little like desire to surf, like the idea of like trying to ride a wave, like photographing it or filming it kind of goes hand in hand with that, because it is so like involved.
Yeah.
It's not like shooting mountain biking. I guess it is like kind of involved, but you're like on the side of a trail or like on the side of like a track, and you're like kind of shooting people going by, and or the same thing with moto. But with shooting surfing, it's like there's so much muscle memory in terms of like understanding like what is gonna happen and like what the wave is gonna like pull you to the right position. Like you almost have to just know like where to sit so that like once the wave is coming at you, it like kind of pulls you into the right spot. You know,
you got to know the ocean.
Yeah. So I think like that was what got me into it in the beginning. I mean, I used to film my dad when I was like, I was like breaking my collarbones all the time. It was in high school. So that was like my first introduction to even like shooting surfing, was filming it.
That's sick.
Wait, you were breaking your collarbones?
Yeah.
Filming it in the water.
No. I was just filming on the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you breaking your
Because
collarbone?
remember I was saying earlier, like I didn't really start shooting photos. I was like filming. So because my dad had like video cameras,
How'd
and
you
I would
break
always
the bone?
from mountain biking.
I thought it was from filming.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, bro, is someone just beating you up?
Would your dad ever say like, "Hey, you want to come to the beach and like film me?"
Yeah.
What do you?
That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
awesome.
Get clips
Fully.
for him.
Yeah, he's
that's awesome.
psyched. I'm like, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, dang, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Smart
Like, yo,
move.
It's pretty sick.
Come film me. Yeah, but there was a year there where I broke my collarbone 3 times in a year, which is just like essentially it's a 3-month like thing. So it's just like almost nonstop, like 3 months, a month back on the bike, and I crashed, break the other one. It was like this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. I did it 4 times, but the 3 times is all in a year.
Wow.
And so I had nothing to do really. So I was like, I had the sling, and then I'd have the tripod and the camera, and then I would just like go to the beach, set it up, and just be filming, like film my dad, and then just like film random people. And so it's not like shooting from the beach, I think, can get pretty boring, but I was like so like wired in on that, you know, from like so young, that I was like pretty stoked on it. It's like I don't want to say it's mindless, because like, yeah, I don't know, surf filmmakers are like very in tune with what they want to shoot, but there's like so much downtime that it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Like
you almost chill.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely could be like a form of therapy when you're older. Just put on the big lens and just like sit there.
I mean, I
That's
feel
why
like
all those guys do that.
exactly. I was gonna say when the swell's up, and you just see like 8 old dudes with
Yeah.
the little tripod and the lens that's like 10 feet long.
Yeah.
Well, back to what you're saying in the water too, because we were just talking about hiring like a water photographer, videographer for a surf trip, and you actually have to really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a good surfer, honestly.
Yeah, I
Be
think
able to shoot in the water proper.
definitely. I mean, it especially when you get in like waves of consequence, you know, like you just have to understand like what's going on. And I mean, it really just comes through practice, which is cool because anybody could learn it, you know, like that's what I like about it. Like, and I like that honestly in anything photography related, is when it's not like gear related, where it's like, oh, the more money you spend, the better stuff you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, like I think with the cool thing with surfing is it's like you could literally have like, you could save up, spend like $1,000 on like a super shitty camera and a water housing. But if you are like able to learn where, like how to be in the right spot, like that's the coolest picture, you know, that's the coolest photo. So I don't know. I think that's what's that like levels the playing field in a way. Cause I think you can like it's not like the more money you spend, the better you're going to be, you know?
For sure.
And I think that's I feel like everyone's psyched on that, even like if you see someone on like a super old, like clapped out bike, but they're like ripping harder than everyone, you're like, dude, that guy. Or the same with the surfing.
Yeah.
Some guy on like a super old board, but he's like so stylish and like just has, is like ripping super hard. You're almost like everyone wants to pull for that guy.
Yeah.
It's core.
So who's the best surfer you've ever shot?
I think like, trying to think. I mean, I've shot like, I don't know. I feel like
You've shot some good surfers.
Yeah. I mean, I've shot like Kelly at his pool.
Oh, okay.
And that was like, for me, was like such a like milestone,
Yeah.
just to have the photos to look back on and to, I guess, say that I did it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But like I pretty much was traveling nonstop with Timmy Reyes for like 4 years. And to me, in terms of like who can go to the most remote zone and like surf waves that no one surfed, or especially in like cold waves, cold weather, where like you have to be, because a lot of guys like, they can go surf pipe, or I don't know, they can go surf like warm water waves and surf them pretty well, but like there's really only a handful of people that can go surf in like a 5 mil with gloves and booties on and still like surf at that level,
Yeah.
Most people just avoid it. They're like, there's no point. Like, I don't really understand why people are like so psyched on that.
That's kind of Timmy's thing, right?
Yeah. To me, he's the best surfer I've ever shot.
Damn.
And I think too, because like I was pretty lucky to like, he was like my introduction into surfing, or into shooting professional surfers, was with Timmy, because he like kind of took a chance on bringing me on trips. And like in the surf world, it's like really hard to break into that, because most of the time, like the people you grow up with are like the people that you photograph or film. So like if you, like I grew up in this like, really flourishing surf place, but I just was not like, I just never invested in, like as a kid I was like this kooky mountain bike kid,
You didn't tap into it.
No, not at all. So I feel like when I decided that I want to start doing that, I almost had to like start from scratch. And I mean, it was through working for Berkey that like I did a trip, and then I did a trip with Chris and Timmy, and then some other guys, and then like me and Timmy started doing trips together, and that was the first like my introduction into surfing, or like into shooting pro surfers. Like me going with Timmy was my first ever trip with like a sponsored pro surfer, and we just never stopped, because I was like lucky in the sense that like Timmy is this rare breed of surfers that like he's older than most of like, I mean, he's probably one of the older guys that's still like relevant in the surf world.
Yeah.
And it's literally just because he like he'll go surf like 8-foot shore break in Canada when nobody's out, or like he's just such a frother.
So you're like a traveling surfer. It's like his gig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I feel like I would later on, as I was starting to do trips with like, younger, kind of more like notable dudes, I like Timmy is what set that bar.
Yeah.
And then I would go on trips where I was like, well, Timmy would go surf this, and they're just like, nah, it's just like, it sucks.
Yeah. They're like competition style. It's like, oh, it's not perfect.
Yeah. And like to each his own, I think like people obviously make great careers out of doing that. But I think I was like, as a photographer, that's like your best case scenario is like a guy that's like super talented and is like willing to just like surf whenever, hoping to get a shot, and most of the time, like the shots that we would get, they would get run in like Surfer Mag when it was still going, or like if we would do trips for Surfline or like the Surfer's Journal. Like I feel like half the times we get photos was like on sessions where like I almost didn't want to go.
Damn.
Because I was like, dude, this is like, it doesn't really look that good, and Timmy would be the one who would be like pulling to go, and then we would go out and get like a crazy shot, you know? So like that almost, it was hard because I feel like that's what started for me, like my surf photography career. And it was like really hard to figure out like how to like develop that. Cause I was like, this whole program is like, it's centered on Timmy wanting to go to like the most out there zone and then just like pull into just like the craziest waves.
Did he have a videographer on I don't know, tour or whatever you guys were doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time there would be, there'd be like one or two guys like shooting video.
Is it, so you were like the on staff, if you will, photographer. Was there any videographer that was similar to you, like that you'd be with all the time, or was it different?
It was kind of different. Yeah. It was almost like I think we would almost work with like some, like wherever we were, it'd be like local people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Who would be like shooting video and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a photo? I was just thinking, do you have a photo in mind that kind of sums up that era early on that we can look at? Is it on your Instagram?
Yeah, I think so.
Can we pull that up on Russell's? I'm just, because you have such a specific style of shooting surfing that I liked. It has such an energy to it where it's almost like, you know, you do like blurry ones, or it's almost, it's an energy where you kind of, you feel more when you're looking at it. I guess that's soul surfing or style.
It's it keeps scrolling down. It's a black and white one. It's almost like, I'll show you here.
Oh, yeah, you've shot Dane Reynolds too, huh?
Just like locally around.
Just happened to be there.
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh, there's Chase's
right
head.
there in the middle. That one.
Damn.
Yeah, because that was like.
I remember that.
That was like one of those sessions where I was kind of saying like.
There's the blurry.
Yeah, like I didn't even want to go because it was just so like heavy and like raining and cold, and it was weird kind of as at the tail end of the trip, and I kind of just honestly was over it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think we can get something, you know? And then, I don't know. Yeah, we just went out.
How big was that?
That's fisheye, so it's a little hard to tell, but it was like probably like 8 or 9 foot faces, but just shore break. Like it's literally in like 3 feet of water.
Jeez.
Like most of them are closeouts. Some of them are makeable, you know? Most people wouldn't. Timmy was just pulling into just like 8 foot closeouts because he just likes
he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
I want to see one more photo too. It's that sunset one. That's my favorite photo.
One.
You know what I'm talking about?
The red sun one.
The red sun.
Oh, I love
that's
that
my
one.
favorite photo.
I almost bought that.
I know. We should.
Me too.
We gotta buy one for
Let's
here.
put one up.
Let's put one up in here. Yeah. Can we still buy that?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck.
That is my favorite photo.
Me too.
Where was that?
That's like up in like Oregon zone.
Yeah. That's a good Disney ride.
Yeah.
Were you on a boat?
No, that was from the beach.
Okay.
But that's, I should preface that's a composite. So it's
Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially like I was shooting a bunch of photos at like a really long focal length and then, like composite together to get that like
that's so sick
like,
though.
Yeah, just how like you can't get the sun that big without shooting like you know those photos where the moon's like massive. You know, it's because you're shooting at like 600 mil, like super close. So essentially, you have to I had to do some wizardry to get it all together. But
you're losing me there.
What's the debate on composites? Is that like because it's art?
Yeah. I think that's a good question, honestly. And that, you know, it's funny because I feel like I got a lot of like heat. Not even heat, but like I feel like people were like pretty bummed on that in the sense that like that's not what it looked like straight out of camera, you know?
Yeah.
But I shot that knowing like that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And if anything, like that, I did that at this weird time where I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna make it as a surf photographer. Doing.
You're just going through the ringer in your head.
Yeah. I just didn't see the trajectory. Like I didn't understand. Like that was like Surfer Mag.
Yeah.
Disappeared. And like I don't know. I guess like I didn't really understand like where you go out and you do this and then like where is that even supposed to go live, you know? Like what surf publications even are interested in photographs anymore, you know?
What's the point versus just like putting something that looks good on your wall that someone made? It's like a painting.
So that was like and honestly that was like kind of that's what stemmed it for me in terms of like where I'm at now creatively because like
it's about a year ago. That's right, 59 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. So like, it was like for me, it was like almost stepping outside of like surfing in general, because like even as awesome as it was to like be traveling with Timmy and stuff, like I kind of always knew like I would be somewhat of an outsider in the surf world, because like, I don't know, I shoot like cold water stuff. I didn't grow up with pros that I can go shoot with. I don't like go to the North Shore every winter. And so I was already like, I've always kind of just tried to embrace like the fact of being an outsider for what is like relevant in surfing, and focus more on like the impressionistic side of it, I guess.
For sure.
So that, I don't know, like that was a good example, because that for me is what stemmed kind of like my like recent body of work was kind of just trying to like draw more into what surfing should feel like, I guess.
What is your recent body of work?
So the book that I published was like that collection of what that looks like. And to me, it was more of like an impressionistic take on what surfing should be.
Yeah. Is that pretty successful? You made like 600 of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I mean, literally when I did that, I was like, if I can break even, I'm stoked, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like, it's still doing super well.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's still for sale right now if people want to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a couple copies left. I did a closed edition. So it was like, once they're gone, they're gone. And I sold like almost all of them.
Yeah.
But I still have like a few.
I mean, it's like self-publishing. I feel like that's way more normal nowadays. Like you could just go your own route, like Case is saying, and make art and photos and put them together. And there's plenty of people who will buy that.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody could tell you that what you're doing is wrong, right? Like,
for sure. I mean,
unless it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the ultimate. Like, it's like if you're making stuff that people like identify with, you know, that's kind of like that's like in film, it's like story is king, you know. And I feel like for photographs, it's like if you can tap into like this emotion that people are like, I want that photo. I don't care what it costs, you know.
For
like
sure. That's awesome.
Because realistically, I mean, in this day and age, like photographs, like, I mean, they still can occupy an important place. I wouldn't be a photographer if I didn't believe that, but we are like in a pretty interesting place and time where, like, I think photographs,
it's going towards video.
Yeah. And
so
really,
camera stuff.
Sure. I mean, like TikTok. Just based on, I mean, like the social media era, we're already like so far into that, right? And then it's kind of like with TikTok and like all these new forms of like social media.
Where do you think it's going towards as a creative? Like, what is your perspective on that?
I don't know. To me, I almost see like this big divergence. Like, I think that there's like this huge divergence between, you know, just like social media for a long time, at least the last couple of years, I almost felt like it was very intermeshed, right? So there's these like awesome, like world-renowned artists, illustrators, photographers, painters, who are also like very involved in social media. And it's weird because I almost think like, at least for like more traditional forms of artwork, again, like photographers, illustrators, painters, whatever, like it's diverging in the sense that like with video.
That was not a fart. That would have been the first fart on show.
Let one loose.
Squeaker.
Okay, side
can't
note,
deny it.
when someone does fart for the first time audibly, can we just remember that moment?
Yeah. We'll put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
We can make it a GIF.
47
NFT.
minutes in with Russell Holliday, Elliott Shaw farted.
No, it was fake. It was the chair. It was the chair. Sorry,
No, he would
Russell.
own the fart.
We
You would
gotta,
own
like-
the
I would own the fuck out of that fart. I would fart on the mic. And you heard it here first. I will fart on the mic. This is my mic.
Your grandsons are going to watch this.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to be like, my dad's an idiot. And my... Wait.
My dad's an idiot. My dad's an idiot. My grandpa's fucking insane.
That's awesome.
All right.
You guys got to
So
keep me on track. 'cause
we
I can
cut you
go-
off hard.
I can
No,
go
you're good.
philosophical.
I have a question.
I wanted that, though. We were so deep.
Oh, we're so deep. Okay, go for it.
If you stay on the divergence, I'm happy with
No, it's
whatever
on.
you
It's
say.
on.
Oh, it's on?
It's on brand of what you asked.
Let's do it then. Hit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a photographer, what do you see or what do you think of NFTs?
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know you're deep in that.
Yeah.
Me?
No. I mean, you too, probably.
You're deep in that.
I don't know anything.
Are you
about
selling
NFTs?
NFTs?
I have. No, not yet.
Not
there's
yet.
a couple of these like invite only. Like there's one called Foundation. That's like, to me, I see there's a few that are like they almost feel very curated. Like and I can kind of see the future in that. The ones
You could see the future
in that.
I can see the future in it being like an outlet for like actual like high end art that is like like
It's called Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard of that?
No, it's invite only, bro. We're not invited.
I've
Well,
been
no,
invited multiple
not
times.
to buy stuff, but just to be like to be a
To sell
creator
on it.
on there.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's some
that it's
council that
essentially
tells you.
there's some like very basic form of like
Oh wow, and you buy it with Ethereum.
yeah.
So
That's awesome.
that's only 50 cents of Ethereum. However,
That's
that
so
makes
$1,500, bro.
50. Oh,
Yeah, but Ethereum is
doing-
50.5 Ethereum.
Yeah.
Ethereum's
So
very down
confusing.
right now.
So
Also.
people-
It is.
Oh,
Everything
no.
is. But wait for the bounce back.
Buy now. Buy low.
Buy
Sell
the
high.
dip. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Hold the
Turns into
line.
a crypto podcast.
It's not going to go away.
No.
It's market manipulation.
If anything,
I just don't understand what NFTs truly are. You're
mean, it's just
owning a photograph to
non-fungible.
have. No, I know.
yeah, it's like,
I know
I
what the
mean,
name is.
it's you're essentially owning like a digital file, and there's no. The weird thing right now that needs to be figured out is the fact that like whoever created that digital file,
Truly owns
there's
it.
nothing that stops them from replicating it.
Yeah.
And then there's also nothing that stops people from like screenshotting it.
Yeah.
And
But like some sort
But
of
there's
licensing,
there's a
right?
history of it.
But are NFTs
Blockchain.
so big right now because if you buy that file, you could maybe sell it for more down the line?
So what
investment.
I was going to say is like, I think like short term, like long term, they're not going away. If anything, I think they're going to figure out a better system of like, I mean, already like there's ways of like, if you license a photo, like there's ways that like algorithms that can track
Oh, to
whether
make
or not
sure.
a photo is showing up on the internet.
Oh, wow.
There's probably a bunch of
You
software
could,
companies.
Like Google, you can go on Google search and do Google image search and drag a photo in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It'll pull open.
Damn, do you
similar
do that
images.
a lot?
No, but I just know that's a thing.
That's how I find out what things are called sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, like the
that's
technology is almost there. I just think for this, in the short term, people are just doing it because they can essentially like maybe buy something and then flip it for money.
Yeah.
Like,
Interesting.
I don't
It's
think like,
expendable money.
no one's buying it
That's
for what
sick.
they think the value of the artwork is. They're buying it because of what maybe they can make off
For the
of it.
potential investment.
But I
Wow.
think like long term, there's
a good deal.
Once they figure out that those two big like hang-ups, I think will be
Yeah.
like it's here to stay. Just because obviously like there's more and more people that are creating like actual really like incredible artwork.
Yeah.
That's in the digital space.
Well, I've also heard it doesn't have to be just for artwork. It can be literally used as a token of currency for
Exactly.
anything. So
Yeah.
Just
I
gonna
mean,
switch over to being like our new way of paying for anything.
All the cryptos.
No, NFTs.
Oh, NFTs?
Yeah,
Like,
like you can pay for your like doctor's
lunch.
visits and like or whatever because it's a blockchain showing like history of your payment.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if anything, NFTs are like a way for photographers. Like, there's very few times in like the creative world that something like this comes along that's like so disruptive that people don't even really know what to do with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like fully just tossing everything upside down.
It's
you know?
confusing as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the interesting part about it because we're gonna probably watch this or if we ever do
Yeah.
watch this again, we're gonna be like, oh, we're idiots. That was like obviously
was
that's
We'll
so
look back on
obvious.
this in 10 years.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should've
your grandson.
invested.
Your grandson's gonna think you're even dumber.
We could have been rich. You should have bought Bitcoin, you idiot.
You know what I miss?
Fluffy cloud that's floating.
I
Things
miss-
like
I
How
love
much
that.
do you think
Yeah,
this
okay.
is? How much do you think this is?
That's 10 Ethereum. Just guessing.
Oh,
Yeah, you
you
saw
fucking
that.
lied.
Which is
I'm
how
guessing.
much?
So it's like $150,000?
I think
No,
it's like
because
30 grand.
Yeah, it's like 30 grand.
Yeah, I think it's like 30
Oh
or
wow,
3,500.
dead on again. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, you saw it.
No, I was just
It was
thinking.
on there for so long.
I know.
You
I
know.
saw it. I saw it.
Oh, he was going to
Son
just
of a
lie to you,
bitch.
viewers.
We're
Now
in,
you
like-
know.
We're
Now
in
you know what Matson's integrity is.
crazy world.
Liar.
So you said there's a divergence, though. So you think it's going this route, and then it's also like
Yeah. Like I think
there's core people holding on to the
I don't
traditional?
know. I mean, in my mind, I'm almost just like there's this divergence in the sense that like these old forms of artwork, you know, like there's still people that see the value in it. And then there's obviously like there's like a new form of media, right? There's like, I don't know, like people who make stuff for like, like I said earlier, like TikTok or whatever. Like,
I saw you were big on TikTok.
Are you?
He's big. Look at his TikTok. Dude.
He's TikTok famous.
Again, so this was in my like weird stew of being like, what does it even mean to be a photographer anymore? You know? So
you went straight to TikTok. And you said,
no, I just I was like I posted like a, you know, slideshow of photos on there, and it just went like Richter.
Oh wow.
Wait, I'll clarify for him. You're not big on TikTok in terms of posting a bunch, but you've gotten
a lot of views.
Famous. Not like, I don't know what the word for TikTok is.
Well, because
like,
I feel like, I mean, TikTok's weird because it's not even, I feel like it's not even about like how many follows you have.
It's just views on things.
Yeah, like I posted this thing and then it was like I checked it I posted that night, you know? And then I woke up the next day and it had like 2,000 views and I had 0 followers. I'm like, how does that even work?
How does that make sense?
I don't get it.
And then, and then I checked like an hour later and it had like 50,000 views and then 100,000, then 500,000, then like 1 million views or whatever.
Your heart race after everything.
Where's it at right now?
I don't know, but it's something.
Did you beat 1 million?
We gotta check out. We gotta check out our TikTok too because I posted something 2 days ago and I haven't looked yet.
I mean, I don't even want to say it, but I don't even look at it.
Probably
I'm not like. If anything, it was more just for me. Like I was like, what?
You tried it?
Even work?
You tried it out?
Is this,
yeah.
If I'm
so do you have one video on there, or is you?
No, I have a couple. But
yours are pretty solid though. Like you have like the idea of how TikTok works.
What?
I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of like.
We only have 200 views.
Yeah,
Jeez,
like I don't have an idea of how TikTok works at all.
There you go. 2 men throwing a horseshoe. Yeah. That's viral.
Did he switch?
Yeah, they switched. Hey,
I saw it.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, you gotta
just 200 views. Nobody cares.
I will say that my lady she like does not.
She helped you.
No, she's like not really about it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like.
Wait, look at that first one.
Which one?
That's the big one.
Look,
771.
it's me just pointing at the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's sick.
That's like TikTok.
I'm like so awkward. Like, I'm like, what do I like?
I forgot your hair was
Wait, click on it. Click on the first one.
Your hair was.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey,
Seager, baby.
Seager. Nice. Represent. Hey, this song?
Fuck yeah, dog.
Let's fucking go.
You gotta get you dancing in the middle of this shit. Oh, that's a sick one.
That one's crazy.
Damn, that's a huge wave too.
Dude, there's this guy on TikTok
that's sick.
Who's like some guy in like Indonesia or something, and he's such a TikTok dork, but he surfs super well.
Do you remember his name?
I don't know his name, but it's so embarrassing.
luck.
He's like flexing on camera. He's like, "This is what I do for every day," and then all of a sudden he's just like getting super barrel, and I'm like, "Oh, you're."
We probably sound like such idiots talking about TikTok. Right now. I must really know what's
TikTok
going
has
on.
such a bad rap. I feel like.
I know. I was gonna say like Katie's like so. Well, not. I don't want to say she's not about it, but it's like just that whole. I'm just like I'm just not like that. You know. Like I can't even like go on there and talk to the camera and be like, check this out. Like then I just end up like doing this awkward like point at the thing, you know.
That is really hard to do.
Yeah, but like I don't know how we got on this, but essentially like, dude, there's like I didn't have an iPhone when like Vine was a thing, but I remember people sending me them and being like I remember telling someone like this has showed me how funny like people can be.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Vine was so.
It's the same thing.
This is the same thing.
It's
like
the same thing.
But it's gotten taken over in a bad way.
I don't know why
It is a
Vine
bad
was
rap.
so much funnier and cooler. I mean,
6 seconds. You gotta be so
Yeah.
creative in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
like
Casey Frey. Unreal.
unreal.
Do you remember like 6-second videos?
What?
No.
It was an account or something called like 6-second videos, and it was just like entire story in 6 seconds.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Is that on TikTok?
No, it was on Vine.
Oh, on Vine.
Yeah.
Is Vine just gone? They got bought out or something?
I think you can still find the old ones, but it's not like a thing anymore. But
crazy.
yeah, because I remember seeing that and being like, this is like like I'm literally watching them on my computer. Like I don't have like a phone. I don't have the app, but people are sending them to me, and this is the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I swear, like this is the same for me. It's the same thing.
Can
like,
you try 6-second films?
Elliott and I made.
I think it's 6-second film.
Remember that Vine?
We made a few vines actually.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I vined it up.
Yeah,
it was a fun.
Yeah,
time.
I never got famous though.
It was a fun time.
Yeah,
I know.
It was hard to get famous.
See, isn't that the weird thing?
6-second films.
The reason people do it is to be famous solely.
Yeah.
Like few people are doing it.
Well, you want people to be like, that was funny. I like that, and then nobody sees it, and you're like, ah.
Yeah, but what's the point at the end of the day? What do you really?
I know,
do
right?
for
See,
people?
So that's
the divergence.
There we go.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So I mean, like I guess this old form of like artwork, it was like it had to stem from you believing in it, you know?
Yeah.
Like because I feel like you had to, like you really did have to believe that this is like what your vision was for it, because it took so long before it was something that people would know you by, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I think like nowadays it's so like I don't know, like I don't want to like shit on anybody that this is their like vibe or their style, but I mean it is so like it's like pretty much just like what's gonna make me viral.
Yeah, what's trending right now or stuff
so
like that.
It's a weird way to live.
You don't really have as much of sense of like you don't have an artistic style as much because it's so just like
sheepish,
whatever
almost.
the newest thing is, you know.
For sure.
I totally agree.
Hey guys, here's it's 9 seconds, but
dude,
it's
you're interrupting your conversation
real
for
quick,
this 5-second film.
I hope this is worth it. It does have a TikTok, by the way.
Let's
for
see,
those of you who are
This
watching.
is already longer than 5 seconds.
Oh,
Wow. That's what you watch?
that was a vine.
Oh my
That was
God.
good. That guy just yelled fuck at his office.
He yelled a lot that day.
He literally was like, guys, by the way, today I'm just going to be yelling fuck.
All right, sorry. Back to the transcendence of divergence.
The transcendence of art.
Wait, okay.
No, but yeah, I think like that's the main, to me, that's what I see as the big difference is like you had to be so like personally invested in like whatever this like artistic style that you have, because it took so long, you know, even with like painting a painting, it was like it took so long, and then even past that, like if you thought it was good enough to put in front of you to represent you and your work, you know, like it was so old school, and like I don't know, if anything I'm like trying to figure out where that like divergence is, and what, because for me the reason why like that red sun photo, and even like this whole last couple years, I mean that book, it was 8 years of work, you know, to get to this place where I was like, this is something I want to like, it feels complete, you know. And what I was like always so fascinated on in terms of trying to like dive so deep into this idea of like impressionism and what that even means for a B grade surf photographer is like looking back in time, where like back when painting was like the standard, right? And everybody, what dictated whether you were making a ton of money or if you were just like a hobbyist was like how real you could make things. Yeah. Like how real you could paint somebody's portrait is like what dictated you were painting the royal family or you were like painting your backyard garden, right?
Yeah.
And then photography came along. And what that did is like that outdid the best painter in the world, because you could go shoot a tintype photograph or whatever the the proper terminology for the first type of photograph, but like a painter couldn't compete with that, right? Yeah. And so then what that did is that like opened up this impressionist movement of being like, well, what does a sunset feel like, you know? And what is like what does something feel like? That's like the basis of impressionism. And the cool thing, and that's why I'm so stoked on it, because you see like some of that early work and it's like these like pastel-y, it's like blocks of color, like you can maybe see a shape of something, but it's so like based around like a feeling or an emotion. And it's crazy because that's like you think about, I took a couple art history classes in college, but I'm like I should have like prefaced that with this. I'm like no expert, but you look at like even like 50 years before, and what everyone was trying to do was make it look as real as possible. And then like in that period of time, everybody is like, it's like a 180-degree switch, right? Into just like blocks of color and like these pieces that are supposed to just like evoke a certain feeling, even if you don't even understand what it is. Well, like the subject matter is just, it's almost irrelevant.
As far as basically what was becoming popular at the time.
Yeah.
Because there was still obvious realism painters that were still trying.
Of course.
But so what you're saying is what like becomes popular is like the divergence kind of.
I think for me is more so like understanding, looking back in history and seeing how these big points of disruption are what have like channeled artists into like discovering this whole new form of creativity. So with this impressionist movement of like when photography came along and what seemed to be dated at the time, which was like painting or any sort of like, you know, like sketching or anything like that, it pretty much almost forced them into like discovering this whole new side of it. And in my mind, I almost look at like, I mean, whether it's like video or digital art, like I almost start to look at photography in that same way, in the sense that like that, I feel like for me, if I could start to try to be shooting photography in that way, it almost, I don't know. I think that's like where it's pulling me, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Looking,
that's cool.
looking in.
You know what's interesting too
is
something that I saw recently, like Mark Maggiore, who we all know.
Of course. Yeah.
Maggiore. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
But I realized that he, for almost all of his paintings, he sets up people in old clothing, like old Western or Native American clothing, takes a photo, then paints it. Which is so interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful work.
Why is that interesting?
It's just like, it's
that.
kind of a combo of everything. You know what I mean? It's like he's creating that original art. He's prepping people in a certain place. He's taking a photo, then he's painting it. And
is that what he does every time?
I don't know if he does it every time, but
I
saw for sure that he did it.
Yeah,
this past time. I've seen it before.
I mean, have you seen his wife's stuff?
No.
I forgot her name. It's
Francis?
some French name too. It has the word hawk in it, I think. If you go to his Instagram, you can probably find it. But she does exactly that case too. She does like set up photos mixed in with.
I don't know how that competes
stuff
with what you're saying, but I guess my point was like that is a combination of it all.
Well,
which was the craziest thing.
If anything, to your point, it's like if technically what he's doing is such an old form of artwork, but if you do it well enough, there's still people out there that see the value.
Yeah.
And with NFTs, if anything, it's artwork has always been so subjective, right? In value. I think if anything, NFTs is like opening that idea up to everyone, where they're like, this pixelated like file, the JPEG is worth $10,000. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah,
you know,
like,
it's like
I would love
I think
that.
the idea is now like a household idea to everyone is like, I mean, how do you assign value to artwork? That just shows how ridiculous it can be.
Another thing is like, how do you personally feel about somebody screenshotting your favorite photo and putting it up on the wall? What is there a true difference in this age?
Morally, yeah, but I guess like outside of that, no.
Yeah.
Like if you're
like, would you be bummed if you saw that in somebody's house?
Yeah. So I mean, somebody did that the other day.
I'm
they
sure.
Posted it and they're like, "Oh, so stoked on like all these like artists," and it was like 2 of my photos up there. And I mean, again, I didn't say anything because I was just like, what am I going to do at this point?
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, it's like so off that wavelength. I feel like people usually are like, they're doing it for good intentions, but they just like, I don't know, they don't realize that you're not making money from most of those trips or whatever. So that's how you try to make money.
That's like college mentality to me. It's like, oh, like I just got to do something like that. Yeah. But then you realize like you're paying for the art to keep them making the art that you like.
Yeah. And again, I'm trying to like tread lightly because I was like on LimeWire just going hard.
Oh my God. My iPod was all illegal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Blew up
so
my laptop.
Yeah. But
going to federal court.
Yeah.
Well, one question that I wanted to bring up is how you found out about Seager and like what that because like we're obviously friends and we've been friends for a while now, and so you can be very honest too if like you thought like
that
any which way, if we were lame or like your initial thoughts, because I think our first time hanging out was actually Mexico, or I don't remember. Actually.
Yeah, what was the first time we met?
But Katie asked me and I couldn't even remember.
Yeah,
so it's got to be through snacks. I'm assuming
it
right?
was through snacks. Yeah, but
the first time was probably when we went up there for that house beer shoot
to Slow.
Because wasn't that like 4 or 5 years ago to Slow?
Yeah,
probably us visiting and coming by like Berkey's studio and being like, hey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there though. He wasn't there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you were already solo at that point, right?
Yeah.
We went up on the ridges and we were just hanging out and drinking beers. That could have been the first time. I don't know.
Probably.
I wish we knew and it was like
But either way, we were like these kids from Southern California that you knew of out of friends and stuff like that. So I'm just curious like what your like initial thoughts were. If
total pussies.
Yeah. And they were like at first like I don't know, when you see like anyone doing something that is in your realm but a little bit different than whatever you're doing, you're like, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
I mean, I always thought the idea of the brand is really awesome. I mean, like, dude, I don't know. There's just always going to be someone who's like too core.
Yeah, always.
So like all it takes is people that are willing to like stick up for what the idea is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's like Western culture and surf culture, you know, like both of those are probably the hardest to like, they're not even like, they're almost like just subcultures. It feels like a big world, but they're really small in the grand scheme of things. Like they're both like subcultures.
Yeah.
And they're the hardest subcultures to be respected in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you're kind of like, you're almost like doubling down in both of them.
Yeah. And it's kind of gnarly when you think about it that way.
Yeah. It's like it's a hard thing to do.
It's hard, and it's hard like knowing that, because it's like,
big shoes to fill almost.
Yeah, big shoes. A lot of people are going to be.
But what's cool is we're like making our own shoes at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone
literally.
There's just
We're not.
I mean,
a little
like,
teaser.
I think if people are understand that it's about what the like idea of the brand is, and it's not like, look at us.
Yeah, it's not us.
We've always said that. Like,
exactly.
And we're celebrating those who do it well.
Exactly. Yeah. People, I think the only time that people are like bummed, or if they're like, I think they just lose sight of that.
Yeah.
Because
I feel that.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up around that my whole life, you know? So, like, again, I didn't even come into surfing until like older.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
You were an adult technically.
Yeah. So like it was such a weird world to try to like fit into, that like some people are going to spend their whole life like trying to like fit into it. And then there's people that are just going to be like, well, it's not even worth the time. Like, let's just go do our own thing.
Yeah. Do it your own way.
So like all that to say, I mean, like there's obviously, I don't know, like with any subculture, there's like different norms or whatever, you know, that you, like kind of are like unspoken rules, I should say.
Yeah.
But past that, I mean, I feel like what drew me to like Seager in the beginning was mainly just because I felt like it was this kind of alignment between these two parts of my life that I grew up with, but not necessarily like I'm not a cowboy, but I like grew up on a ranch that we like lease cattle to my whole life, you know? And then my, like, I don't know, like I didn't surf all that much, but I like knew how.
Right.
Sure.
So all in all, I was a kook in both aspects.
Yeah.
I should say. Even though I felt like I was like, I don't know, it was like I was so stoked on both of those things.
Yeah.
I just didn't fit into any of them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, everybody is kooky at one point or in anything they haven't done. Like that's just how you get started. And once you accept that, you can move forward. And like we were talking about, respecting those who do it better and then learning and growing. And that's how you get that respect, you know. But honestly, too, with what you were talking about earlier, I just wanted to say this with, I guess, Impressionism. I am no art history person at all, but how you were saying you're trying to capture the feeling and the emotion. that is entirely how we built the brand, because in college with no money making one t-shirt, like how do you express both of those ideas through a t-shirt? And we're like, well, we can't. So what do we do? And it had to be through photos. And so we're not the ones shooting photos, maybe some film here and there.
Yeah.
And so we've been lucky that the photographers that we've worked with, like yourself, understand that idea, I guess, and capture the energy, because that energy is like what we've built our brand on, I guess, really. I mean, the products are catching up, but the story is, like you said, as long as you hold on to that, then you get it. You know?
Exactly.
You just got to believe.
You just got to believe.
Exactly.
Got to believe.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if anything, it's like we're in a place too where like all of these different areas it's open to everybody, you know? I think that's what's like the big part, especially like in surfing, it's like, oh, if you don't grow up next to the beach, or like in like cowboy culture, it's like, oh, well, if you didn't like grow up with horses and you didn't have land, then like you're a kook.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
it's too black and white.
Yeah. Well, I mean, granted, it's like there's always going to be these like unspoken rules.
For sure.
And I think that like those like norms or whatever are what keep they're what keeps subcultures, right? It's like it's like it's what keeps I don't know. It's hard for me to explain.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
But out like there's always going to be these like norms of like what is kind of like what's kooky and what's
I agree.
cool.
I think what's funny is surf. This is kind of random, but I'm just going to throw it in there. Surf, I feel like, is constantly focused on the youth, you know? Like, who's the next up and coming surfer? Here's the newest drum, you know, charging, whatever. And then on the outdoor side, it's usually like, here's this guy from the 70s. He's 80 now. You know, he's still doing it. Like, it idolizes someone who's older, where really in surf, it's kind of like Kelly. There's not that many, and he's not even that old. But I feel like it's so youthful, which I guess just goes into the point of how hard it is what we're doing. We're trying to talk to kids and grandpas at the same time. And I wish grandpas never died.
Yeah, you guys probably chose like the hardest world to occupy.
It seems so easy.
But I mean, again, it's like the more that's about celebrating like people who represent that.
Totally.
That's what gets people behind it, you know. That's like what got me behind it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what kept us going, really, is people accepting that and sharing their story, like yourself, or like I grew up in both of those. You know what I mean? Or being around to it and you respect it. And to us, it's like, okay, we're doing something good here.
Yeah.
You know, keep going.
Yeah, of course.
That people connect to it. Because if we just got nothing but hate mail, it'd be hard to get through those first years of just being
you wouldn't
broke.
continue. Yeah.
There's no way.
The support is what was
you need
made
support.
It easy
Totally.
to keep going.
Was it similar for you like that with photography, where it's like, because it's such a creative endeavor, you know? You're like, is this photo cool?
It's so personal. Like it always feels like personal.
Yeah.
You know. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I definitely went through a phase of time where, like, I was really starting to like discover this whole side of what I was doing, and it was like it wasn't necessarily like super surf focused, and so. I don't know, like I think that there were people who understood like that, like the connection that I was making, and then there's certain people where it's like oh, it's like I don't know, he's not even getting barreled. You know?
Yeah, I feel that,
and it's I take it personally. You know, I'm like the photo that you guys pulled up, that like in that caption is kind of what I was like writing about, where it's like I feel like at that point in time I was like, oh, I'd spent like 5 years where I'd literally put like everything I had, like all the money, all the like extra money I had aside from rent and gas and camera insurance to like go do this stuff. And then like you go somewhere and someone literally just hates you because you're like on the beach taking pictures, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're like blowing it up.
Yeah.
So, and I, again, like if I was the type of person who would just fully like compartmentalize that or just like not let that affect me, I feel like I would have a better job, like a better like time like pursuing it. But I'm just such a personal and like sensitive person that it's like it's so weird to like feel like you're investing so much in something and have people like legit hate you for it because you're like taking pictures of waves and places and stuff. But so it's like weird because you're almost just like, am I supposed to just like ignore it, or am I supposed to
like, how can you better the system in a way?
Yeah. Or it's like, what am I supposed to do aside from just literally like quit all of this and just like go work in the trades?
Yeah.
Which I'm like, man,
I mean,
that is interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just, like you said, there's just always going to be people doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as you're respectful,
yeah. Well,
it's just hard to get past the.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I reached that point in a way. And then also just like, I feel like I've always treaded super lightly and like have made like good friends with like all of the locals and in like these places that are like super sensitive to photograph. And if anything, like this whole side of the more like abstract work that I was shooting came from like being in places that I couldn't like show everything.
Oh, so you'd have to hide it a little bit?
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't want to show I didn't want to show the backdrop. So I would just shoot like super tight of, you know, like the wave, like the movement of it or the shape of it.
Sick.
And then it was, I don't know, like almost just doing that out of respect.
Yeah.
And then when I would come back and the photos would be published, like I would get notes from the people who lived there and were like, hey, thank you for like doing that. Like, cause they knew like they knew that I could have just as easily like gone and just shot the whole zone and
location
like showed exactly where it was and whatever. And so like after it all been said and done, like, and they saw it all, they're like, hey, thank you for doing that. Like, thank you for cropping this out, or thank you for, shooting it in a way where you are like treading, like, I mean, pretty much like treading as lightly as you possibly could without just not shooting a photo, you know?
Yeah. I feel that.
And for me, it was like rewarding to feel like I was like, dang, I feel like I'm actually like starting to discover something here. And also I hate bumming people out.
Yeah.
And in a way that's almost what started it. Outside of like, the whole art history lesson was just doing it in a way that I felt like was like really treading lightly and being like respectful. Yeah. And then to hear that come back and have them be like, you're welcome anytime. Like, we're stoked for you to be here.
That's it.
Because we like these photos because they're cool. Yeah. And they're like, they kind of are like sensitive to where the locations are.
For sure.
I was like, man, that's like a win-win, you know, for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not the type of person that I could like go do something and like, you know, maybe get like some accolades from it and then have the people that are like there be like, dude, never come back here.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not even worth it at that point.
Yeah. I'm just too much. I'm too much of like a sensitive person to do that.
And I feel like you're there for the moment too. Like you want to be there in the moment. It's not like, oh, I just did that, never going back.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So what's next for you? Do you have any projects coming up?
This year has been cool because I've been like starting to be commissioned to actually go shoot that style of work. And so, I don't know. There's a couple projects like this year that are more centered around that outside of surfing that they're like, hey, this is like, we understand what you're trying to do here, but like take this and apply it to this.
Oh, sick.
So,
interesting. What brands can you share?
I can't, but it's more for like publications and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it would be cool. Like I'm stoked because if I can continue that, like that would be, I don't know. That's like
that's sick.
That's all I want to do.
Sick.
You know?
So you do like, is your end goal to be freelance and be free to do whatever creative art you want, or more for a brand or something?
No, I think like if I could like get to a place where people were commissioning that style of work, that would be awesome. And I mean, there's people that are doing a great job of that, like Thomas Campbell.
Yeah, it's epic.
Even like Cole Barash, he's a snowboard guy, but like I mean, Tom is a great example. Thomas Campbell, he's like I mean, I don't know, he like shoots photos, he like directs films, and he's like an awesome illustrator.
Yeah.
And it's almost like because he's just like such a creative person.
Yeah.
He's like such a multifaceted.
For sure.
And I suck at drawing, but like I don't know if that's like necessarily my end goal.
Yeah.
But seeing people, like I was saying in the beginning, like seeing people who have done it before you, like, and you can see that track record, is like super inspiring because you realize so many niches.
There's, I mean, what's the other guy? I think he's in your zone. Is it Nelson? What's his first name? The woodworker.
Jay Nelson.
Jay Nelson.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't even know. Like, is he a woodworker? By what would you call him?
Yeah,
just woodworker.
I guess like woodworker, and I would call him like almost like an architect, like a creator of things.
And then brands picked up on that, and it's like people think of him. I think it's Vissla. Some other brands have kind of tapped into that.
Yeah,
I think it is cool. There's a lot of breadth in that now.
Yeah, and ideally, I mean, like with something like that, you can't learn how to do that overnight, you know, and especially with anyone can like pick up their phone and take a photograph, or anyone can buy the newest camera and take a photo.
Yeah.
But ideally, I mean, like, or I shouldn't say ideally, but just hopefully, in the future, like, brands are investing in people that like are there. It takes so much time. You know, like everywhere else in history, it took like 30 years to get to this place where you're like a respected artist.
Yeah.
And in our generation, it's like if you're not like making moves by 18, you're like kind of falling behind. And I feel like the slow burn is like just like in terms if you really do want to try to like explore yourself creatively and like really figure out like what do I want to be known by, like that takes some serious time.
That totally does.
Yeah. And so I feel like I feel like I'm in this place where I'm like it's just a slow process, and it took 10 years to get to this place where I'm like, I think I'm starting to get to a place where I feel like I'm proud of being known by this work.
That's cool.
And yeah, hopefully that just keeps going.
I mean, it seems like good advice, to be honest. And we've honestly too done a similar sort of style. We're kind of forced into it just financially, but the slow burn seems so hard because it's so tempting. There's so many like, I'm sure there's been gigs, and maybe, I don't know, but maybe there's been gigs that have come up where you're like, that's just, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth sacrificing.
What would be an example of that?
For us?
Like Barbie dolls?
No.
For him?
Well, no, I feel like for you guys,
I was just thinking like
it'd probably be like you know, 2 years in when you like, you know, you have a pretty like cool idea.
Yeah.
But then like you get like all this gnarly investor money, and then you just kind of like wipe your hands of the creative aspect of it all.
It's gone.
And it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
The brand would go with it. Yeah.
And financially, it probably would get to that. Like, it probably would get to this like place in a faster period of time.
Yeah.
But like, whether it's from the sake of like personal investment, or just like wanted to do things old school, like literally like growing it organically.
Yeah.
Which is like I don't know. That's so hard to do these days without having like gnarly money being pumped in.
It totally is. And honestly, I mean, I think that like we were saying with TikTok, even like that is the narrative. I think that's pushed down your throat is start early. You got to do it by 18, sell out if you want to make that money. Otherwise you're blowing it. And it creates so much stress at that age where you're 17, 18, early college years.
Yeah.
Once you're at that age, there's just so much stress from all angles. You think you got to go that route, but if you can hold on, you know, to what you really want long term and play it out organically, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, anything meaningful is going to take time.
Exactly.
So
if you care about it, you don't want to sell.
Yeah,
that's just, I feel like that's just the end all be all. Like, you know, it's going to go to shit if you sell something like that.
Yeah.
Or if you sell yourself, or if you take it to a next level.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. And here we are all on TikTok.
And here's an ad.
We all have TikToks.
Hold the line.
This is a great time to put in the ad.
Sponsored by TikTok and Pfizer. I'm kidding. Mattson's like, don't say that word. The P word. The silent P.
Don't say it.
The silent P. Why is that a thing? Silent letters?
What's this going to be? What's this like?
It's still story time.
Are we still? Are we like running long, or are we like?
Yeah,
this is all for TikTok.
Yeah,
No,
this is.
kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna cut into 6 minute segments.
Short form media.
Short form
It's
media.
actually 6 seconds.
It's honestly, I think we're
Should
pretty. Is it an hour 20 we normally do? Are we about tapped out?
Yeah,
normally.
we're looking good.
Typically do like hour 15, hour 30.
Yeah, so we pretty much just run it, and we don't necessarily cut it unless
just get like 6 minutes of me going.
I mean, if you do that, we can drop that shit. That'll be the title card, is a zoomed in photo of that. Damn, that's sick. Wow.
Yeah, we have to do that now.
Dude, that was like, I just blacked out like 20-minute like art.
Isn't that crazy?
That was awesome.
You were going deep, dude.
Yeah,
some quality
that
shit.
I know it's a little like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little ambiguous for this setting, but
no, it's good.
What?
Good to show your
the impressionist stuff. They're saying, oh no, that's perfect. I mean, honestly, if you're a photographer and you're watching this and you're 16 and confused, it's sick to hear someone who's gone.
You're saying that he looks to 16-year-olds.
16. No, I'm saying no.
They're
the
looking
opposite.
to him.
The opposite. They're looking to him, and they're listening, and they're thinking like, God, what am I gonna do? Do I go to college for this? Like, what am I gonna? Am I gonna go to SCAD?
That's very true.
Yeah,
do I go to SCAD and spend all that money?
That's probably the biggest trap for like a aspiring like photographer or videographer, director, what have it, you know.
What do you do? Like, do you go to college? What's the right route? A trade school? Arts,
I don't know.
SCAD?
I want to say too that they're
not SCAD.
A lot of
don't
people
go to SCAD
because if you commit to something, SCAD.
Don't go.
If you commit to something, you also have to have the right idea and have the right mindset. A lot of people commit to things and it's not going to work out.
Yeah,
because they're committing to it wrong.
What do you mean?
know, I don't necessarily have an example, but
can you re-explain it to me?
Yeah, let me.
They're committing for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for the money or the fame. Or,
and when I say commit, I'm talking about like focusing on what you want to do, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I get that.
Just thinking, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I feel like the one thing you can do is like apprentice under somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest.
Sick.
That's how I learned everything.
Yeah.
Get a mentor.
For Berkey was like that was like how I learned everything. Like there was no way I was gonna state like just the trajectory of it. You know, you outgrow like being there.
Yeah.
But like I would have been dead in the water without doing that. Yeah. And I feel like that's
all of our friends that are good photographers that are getting paid by big companies
have done that.
Exact
thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's, I mean, like architecture, you can't just like, you can't just go to school and then, I mean, getting licenses, that's pretty much like going to college again.
Yeah.
But even if you get licensed, you can't just go out and be like, hey, hire me to like design stuff. Yeah. Like you need to work at a firm. Even if you're good enough, you can obviously just go out on your own, but you need to learn. It's like that with honestly, like any job. I think this is the only job that it's like, it's possible to just go at your own and somehow like make it to the top or whatever. Yeah. But so, I mean, there's for people like me, there's probably 10 people who would say like, you don't need that. Just go do it. But to your point, like you're almost at this, like, I think it's when you're in that age where you don't really know like what you want yet, it's like it's nice to like work somewhere where you're learning like the hard skills of what it means to be in the industry, and you're letting that dictate what those like creative ideas have in your head. So when you leave, you're like able to mesh that together, like industry knowledge with creative knowledge.
Yeah.
So that you like, I feel like for photography is like, it's literally like getting lucky, but like preparing yourself for when that point of luck hits you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Like you don't know when it's going to be. It could be like a year into your career. It could be 20 years into your career. And if you're sticking to like something that you're passionate about, like it eventually will work. But like you have to be prepared about when that opportunity comes, that like you're ready for it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like, but it's like this weird balance of you're just getting lucky. Like it's kind of weird to say, but I think that's like luck is a huge part of it. Outside of that, all you can control is like the type of person you are. Yeah. Like with others and with yourself, and then the type of work that you're doing. As long as that's stuff that you feel that it's like what is like you want to be creating.
For sure.
That's it. And then you're just waiting on the luck train to just
drive on by. Well, thank you very much, Russell.
Thank you very much, Russell.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Russell.
That's terrifying. We're triplets.
All right, let's do it again. Take it again.
But seriously, thank you very much for coming down. We appreciate it. Thanks for being our friend.
Yeah.
Thanks for inspiring us and other people through your art.
Thank you.
And through just being a genuinely fun dude.
Appreciate it.
There we go.